So we're here with a game series that I've wanted to LP for a long time, but I just never got around to it for whatever reason.
I'm that girl who says, Devil May Cry HD Edition.
So we're going to be doing DMC 1 today, and I want to do all the DMCs up till 5, except for DMC 2 for a lot of reasons.
So why, I forget, why is DMC 2 so bad?
It's just, it was directed by a different guy. That director actually got kicked off in the very final months of the project because it was going so poorly. And the director of, I believe, DMC 3, which is actually a really, really good game, was brought on at the end. But you can't salvage a project within a couple months.
But is it not fast, not fun?
It's the AI is brain dead. The story doesn't exist. The combat feels slow and janky. It's just a really bad game. So maybe I'll do something just showing off the first hour of the game.
I'd be curious.
So what we're going to be doing today is I'm not going to be playing on normal. We're going to be playing on hard.
Yeah.
So this game is a little bit different than the other DMCs, where you can't really have a save file where you can just choose whatever difficulty, whatever mission that you want to do the later games. Basically, New Game Plus puts you into hard immediately, and then if you beat hard, you can play Dante Must Die difficulty, but just going to be doing hard because Dante Must Die is a little bit too hardcore for me. So,
is it one, we're watching the cutscenes, right?
Yeah.
Good. So is it one hit death or whatever?
No, it's not that hardcore.
What do you call that text? Castlevania text?
But yeah, you'll see, if anyone's familiar with this game that played it only on normal, you'll definitely see that there's different enemies all around the place that you don't see until much later in normal. So it's already a pretty significantly different game. And obviously the most obvious things are enemies do more damage when they hit you. Generally bosses have a lot more HP. But I think Dante Must Die mode goes a little bit too hardcore, where I think enemies, compared to normal hard, I would say bosses have 1.5 to 2 times more health. And Dante Must Die, I swear it's 3 to 4 times as much health as normal. So it gets a little... This game... I do really like this game, and it's surprising that this game came out in 2001, and they did so many things right on the first try. Because a lot of people, people call these games character action games. They're just basically a more sophisticated action game.
Hi.
Whoa, slow down,
Slow down, babe. But this is kind of the first game of its kind. And there's some problems with this game. Mostly, this game's pretty famous, or I guess infamous, for being originally a Resident Evil game that changed
Am I correct?
direction mid-development. Almost. So you'll see that I think this game suffers from that a
Whoa!
little bit.
Oh, okay. Phew. I was worried there in the background.
You're the man who lost a mother and a
But I
brother
do
to
think
you
that this game
20
is
years ago.
pretty excellent,
The son of the
despite
legendary
it
Dark
being
Knight
a
Sparta.
game that's almost 20 years old and kind of
Dante.
kickstarted the entire genre.
Well, the way I figure it,
This game was directed by
there's a
Hideki
lot of
Kimiya, who directed games like
if I
Resident
kill
Evil
each one
2,
that comes,
and
eventually I
some of the
should
later
jump
Platinum
out
games like
sooner.
Bayonetta, and a lot of other Capcom stuff.
You
So
should be used to this.
he's one of my favorite directors of all time, honestly. Even though I think that this game, later games in the series, directly improved basically everything from this game is still excellent.
Oh.
Are you really the son of the legendary Dark Knight Sparta? Your daddy
Jacked?
Sword. Time to go to work, guys.
I think that's all I remember about this game is the motorcycle. I forgot if he flipped a motorcycle, but it was something with the motorcycle.
Even as a child, I had powers. There's demonic blood in me.
So when I was replaying this game, I skipped all the cutscenes, so I don't really remember the story too much either.
What
You
strength?
were the first one to know about my vengeance. Looks like I'm getting closer.
Do you use guns?
Yeah, Dante's all about having a million weapons, both long range and
seems that
short
way.
range.
I didn't know if
I'm
there was
not sure
oh
I-
no, you can only
My name
use
is
short range
Trish.
because it's the best by far or
I
something
came
like
here
that.
to seek your help.
I guess you've never really played any of the DMC games.
I actually beat one. And I tried 3, but 3 even on normal is way too hard. No. No!
20 years ago, Mundus, the Emperor of the Underworld.
I like
resurrected.
Mundus.
Pretty sure it's in Mundus.
Yes. His powers were
I always
sealed
thought it was
by Sparta. He's
Mundus.
attempting to gain control of the human world once again.
So this HD remake seems like it's pretty good.
Yeah, for the most part.
Malay Island.
I mean, you can kind of see that they didn't try at all to remaster the actual FMVs, but
Isn't that harder?
it's a lot harder.
I can't think of a single
I don't think.
PS2 HD remake that did though.
I don't think this is. Especially there's some models like I don't know if you saw Trish, but
She looked like she was like
pretty
50
bad.
years
Castle is
old.
above
Yeah.
this cliff. Come on.
I do
let's
think
go.
that the original game, like models, this game looks pretty decent for the time. Actually, looks pretty excellent for the time. But some of the character models are pretty rough.
But I'm just like Silent Hill 2 and 3, they definitely didn't do the cutscene upgrades. I just can't. I don't think they ever do. Just must be too tough.
I kind of remember that the story in this game is not the greatest, especially Dante at certain cutscenes.
Dante the GOAT.
Dante's personality has changed a lot. Obviously, a lot of people know Dante mostly from 3 and 4, where he's kind of a lot more goofy. In this game, like, they try to have it both ways, where he's serious and goofy, and it doesn't really work.
Dude, PS2 was the era of, like, 3D platformer kind of things like this. Games that weren't 1,000 hours long, but you could replay it over and over again.
Like, if you know what you're doing with this game, and you skip all the cutscenes, you can beat this game in probably about 2 hours.
But nowadays, everything has to have open world, literally 5 million things to do, 1 million things to collect. Oh, God.
Yeah, this game is very short and sweet. I do think that possibly it's a little bit too short, because I think the shifted development mid-course kind of affected this game, because they probably were really focusing on Dante himself, because Dante still feels very good.
Dang, one hit.
A lot of enemies take a lot more. These are pretty much the weakest enemies in the game. So, people that know this game, this enemy does not show up until like the half point of the game.
Wow.
So, yeah, they kind of throw stuff at you like immediately.
I remember a boss in a church or something like that.
Yeah, we'll be getting to that boss pretty soon. Yeah, I have some things to say about that boss. I don't think it should be the first boss of the game for a lot of reasons, but I'll try to go over it when we get there.
It also has obviously he knows where he's going because he's played it before, but it also has like almost a Resident Evil type of feel where like you get, it's not nearly as puzzle based, but there is a little bit of like, especially early on. But if I remember correctly, later on it becomes much more linear. But like here, it's like, where do I go? What do I do?
Yeah, this game is very linear with its mission structure. Like, it pretty much tells you what to do and only lets you do that.
Stylish! You gonna get A in every single one?
I mean, the best rank is S, but to do S, like, you really have to do it. So, I'm gonna try to kill this guy real quick. So these puppet enemies in hard mode sometimes carry shotguns, and, okay. That shotgun takes a lot of damage. Come on, I just want to beat the guy with the shotgun. No.
Wow. Literal shotguns. That's something.
And, like, it doesn't work like what you think a shotgun should work. Like, if they're, like, across the room, they still do, like, probably
Oh, they're
full
hit
damage.
scanners.
So I got lucky. But yeah, in normal mode, those puppet guys do not carry shotguns even one time.
Wait, what was the purpose of that? Did you get an item or something?
It was basically to spawn these puppets to be in this room, so I can unlock it, because the next door is blocked by sort of an evil force. doing too good. I mean, I'm not gonna lose, but I'm not gonna.
It's the curse of the LPs. It's just hard.
I mean, this game is hard.
Well, yeah, it's also just hard to do it when you have one try, you know. I like the hands. That's the best part. Ching. So do you have you said this is New Game Plus B?
Yeah, you keep all your weapons, most of your weapons.
Oh, that's good.
And all your abilities.
Do you have any reason to buy anything else? Because you have like 8,000.
There's so much stuff to buy in this game,
Okay.
and a lot of it is unfortunately very expensive. So I want to buy. I want to buy this. I want to buy both of these.
Do you have all the the yellow?
No,
What's the stars that give you more? Yellow.
Blue orbs are health, and purple orbs are more double trigger symbols. So that's my last blue orb that I need to buy. I'm probably not gonna buy it because I think a blue orb only gives you like 1/8 or 1/10 of a health bar, so it's not worth it. Purple orbs will definitely be investing most of my orbs into.
Judge of Death. Let's go. This game does not mess around. It's already like, here's enemies, bro.
And this game, what enemies spawn in each room is pretty random. So when I'm replaying the missions, it's like, well, there was puppets in that room, but you can also see different enemies. And man, this game, the enemy design I think is really good, but a lot of this game is super scary, where most of the enemies are designed to be like lethal, and they can be very scary. So I'm gonna change the shotgun.
I remember when I played this, that's like all I used.
The shotgun is very good. Okay, so that's a shadow. I don't want to play a shadow.
Are they like one of the toughest?
Shadows are definitely.
Yeah, so cool. Is there like a best gun in the game?
All of them kind of have their own things. Some of the more like straightforward weapons, like the shotgun and the grenade launcher, like really the game is designed to kind of like not want you to use them because they don't give you any stylish points, where the handguns do. So I think if you want to get a good rank, you really should just stick with handguns for most of the game. But the shotgun is extremely good in this game, and I'm definitely using it hard.
Base shotgun. That's really cool set pieces too.
Yeah,
I
can definitely tell that this was originally a Resident
I just want to
game.
see like a little bit of DMC2 when you finish one. It's games like that.
It's just not a fun game, and it's
but my thing is, games like that you can tell why it's not fun like 10 minutes in. So I don't need to see like a ton. Just like, here it is. Here's it for 10 minutes. All right, moving on. Now it's 3. But I find it funny that the first one was generally considered excellent, and then of course, like you mentioned, yeah,
it didn't have the same director, and I think the director kind of took up the mantle and like just didn't understand what made GMC special.
But then 3 comes back and is awesome again.
Yeah. And I forget the director of DMC3 goes on to direct I think the rest of the series except for DMC, which doesn't even count the reboot thing.
Dante from DMC is me.
He is so edgy. He's so angsty. That's the better word.
Is
whoa!
Yeah. Is 4 good?
4 is well, we'll get to that. It's a good game, but it's like half finished.
Dang. Do people like 5?
5 is pretty good too, yeah.
So it's probably...
I think 5 is what 4 should have been, because 4 is definitely an unfinished game. Like, half the game's missing. But DMC 5 feels like an actual complete adventure.
So it's probably like 5... I'm sorry. 3, 1, 5, 4, 2.
Yeah, I think 3 is the most solid overall. I do like the gameplay of 4 and 5 probably a bit better than 3. because they just, as the series goes on, they like add things and like they refine other aspects. So it's hard to go back and be like, DMC3 has the unquestionable best gameplay, but also DMC3 has like probably the best story and the best characters and the best like level design. So I think that's like sort of like the best overall. DMC4 is probably the one I played the most, where, like, because the gameplay, even though the game's unfinished, the gameplay is so good.
I just remember DMC3 being so hard. Literally the first boss is some like ice boss, and I played it on normal, and I died like 5,000 times.
We're about to fight the boss that is definitely the casual filter, because even as a kid, I remember this boss BTFOing me, and everyone always knew about when you die a couple times in DMC, it asks you if you want to play in easy mode. And it's so...
Well, I remember I literally did that in DMC3 with the ice boss, and I put it on easy mode, and even then I was dying, and I'm like, what?
DMC3 is a good game, but it sort of suffers from the same thing that this game does, where I think Cerberus should not have been the first boss of DMC3, because it's a hard boss.
Notice you're taking a little damage there.
Yeah. This sector's so
Oh, and you get it back in.
Yeah, the last skull that you kill automatically gives you a key reward.
Pretty cool. You know,
gotta use Stinger everywhere because
it's kind of like a DMC game. You know, one of the 5 hardest games I've ever played. Now, granted, I've never played any Dark Souls or Bloodborne or Demon Souls, so don't Alex Swingle or whatever. Don't be like, but Darksiders 3 is one of the hardest games I've ever played. There's a boss within the first 5 minutes, and I died on it on normal. It's like a tutorial boss. I died on it on normal like 10 times. I put it on easy, I still died to it. I beat the game eventually, but on easy mode, I probably died in that game like 30 times. It's also not a great game.
I never played it.
It's not worth it. The only reason we did it is Parker and I are going through all the Darksiders.
I tried to play Darksiders 1 on PS3, and like the frame rate was like 5 frames per second, and I gave up within like literally 2 minutes.
Probably one of those that was decent on 360, but like not good on PS3 because all games were developed for 360 and then ported to PS3.
So this boss is called Phantom, and so Phantom has no hitbox other than his face, and because of that strict restriction, I really don't think that this boss should have been the first boss in the game. Like, you really have to know what you're doing. And, like, sometimes you can just...
Boy, that took nothing.
Dude, come on. Like, this dumb AI... Oh,
It's like, why even bother hitting him if you don't have double trigger? It takes so little.
that is definitely something I will say is probably... Double trigger is basically mandatory for some of these bosses to do any substantial damage.
Yeah, I mean, you were taking, like, literally nothing. Finish him with shotgun! Nice.
Alright, so Phantom, when I was originally replaying this game, like, I was getting BTFO, I will not deny it. Phantom is, like, if you don't play him the specific way that I was playing him, and, like, know that you can shoot the, like, that move that he does where he opens his mouth and it looks like a fireball is about to come out, like, he's gonna launch a fireball, but you can stinger that and launch it back to him and it takes, like, a lot of damage. But B... I guess because I got hit by it.
The thing that stinks is they don't show you, like, the breakdown.
Yeah, DMC3 gives you, like, a more substantial breakdown. It gives you, like, an S rank for, like, 5 different criteria, which is, like, how much damage you took, how many orbs you did, how fast you did it, how many items you used. Obviously, 0 obviously gives you an S, but using even 1 brings it different.
Yeah, this game's just one that's fun to watch.
Okay, I'm gonna shut this off. So, Phantom's here. He has a health bar, but from what you can tell, it doesn't look like you can really, kill him. But if you know what you're doing with this Vortex move, you can kill him in, like, a second. But I bet a lot of people don't even know that you can, like, kill
You just
him.
run away, right, normally?
Yeah. It doesn't even give you anything. It doesn't give you orbs, it doesn't give you anything. But I just think it's neat that you can actually kill him. It does give you all your Devil Trigger back, which is nice. Alright, so this is another instance of hard mode. So, anyone that's familiar with this game, when you break this lion statue, it summons a shadow, which is that shadow enemy that I ran away from before. But in hard mode, it summons a Death Scythe, and Death Scythes are so annoying. So, Death Scythes take basically no damage from guns of any sort. So you basically have to do mostly melee moves, but a lot of times it will block whatever you're trying to do. Dude, get out of the ball. Dang it. Got hit by every single one. And I unfortunately think that this is not a very good fight, because you can see the very cramped environment that I'm in. And, no.
Dang.
I really didn't really die this quickly. I guess I didn't do that fight very good, but I also think that this fight is kind of bad.
Well, being stuck in a small area ain't ever easy.
I will definitely say that I think Death Scythes are my least favorite enemy in the game. By, I would say, a good portion. They're just not very fun. They have, like, invulnerability states where you basically just have to avoid them.
Yeah. You can really only get one hit off him at a time.
Yeah, and when he has that, like, yellow state on his head, not too much of a Get out of the ball, you piece of
Wow.
Luckily, there's like 2 mandatory Death Scythe fights, and they really only show up a couple times the entire game, but they're such a rough enemy.